Hi there and welcome to CryptoTime. My name's Antonio Shillingford and I'm here with James Coughlin. How are you doing today?
Very well, looking forward to this segment.
Good to hear. And please remember, do not take any of this as any form of financial advice. It's just the opinions of myself and of course James. So we'll use that moment to jump straight into it. So would you like to get us started?
Yeah, let's kick off. So first thing I wanted to talk about today, and pretty much the only subject I personally wanted to speak about today, is nChain. nChain have been brought under quite a lot.
So what you're saying, you're not interested in my news then?
Well, I don't think it's going to be quite as good as mine, but this is mine and this is yours. So yeah, let's crack on. So with nChain, it's obviously very interesting to see how things have been sparking up at the moment in terms of the community. Not with nChain itself, very, very comfortable and very happy with the work that they're progressing with at this moment in time. But the main kind of scrutinies come around their kind of IP program at this moment in time. So what I mean by that is about the intellectual property of obviously what they're working with at this present stage. Mm-hmm. Now, what they've done over the last, I would say, 4, maybe even 5 years actually, have been running around ensuring that they're actually getting their name stamped on all of these fantastic inventions, as it were, that they've created. And I think something that's very important in this kind of race, as it were, is to get those inventions stamped down, because we know that this space is heating up. We've seen investment from VC firms all over at the moment where they're looking to get a piece of the pie. Now, I think it's only fair to assume that there's going to be a lot of companies out there that will look to do the same thing along the side of patents. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of plays out. Do you have any interesting points on that?
Yeah, because patents do have a bit of a negative view. A lot of the people have a negative view towards them within this space, when it doesn't make any form of sense to not protect something that you have actually spent money and invested into the company to build a certain technology. You should protect it, because someone else can just quite simply, you've created that particular technology, then someone else can patent it.
Yeah, 100%. But I think the really cool thing that nChain have done with this is that they vowed and vouched for the fact that they are going to allow people to build on SV using a lot of the patents for absolutely no cost whatsoever. So I think what the difference is here is that when we look at, for example, major institutions that will be looking to have a patent, guarded in some sort of way to ensure that they have the property rights over it, what is very interesting is to see that nChain are obviously doing that as well, but they're also looking to do it for the right reasons, which is to build the crypto ecosystem to the absolute maximum that it can be built to. Now, one thing that we have seen through large actors in the space previously is they're not malicious in a way, but their intentions are monetary based solely. The fact that they are incentivizing people not on that basis, but to just literally build on the fact that they've got some great inventions there, and they're saying, look, have a look at them. If you can use them in some sort of capacity, and we can improve the SV project together, let's work forward together. Now, one thing I do think is interesting and well worth mentioning around it as well is they're not saying, for example, that blockchains such as Ethereum can't use this technology, but what they are saying is this is going to come with a price tag to them. Yeah. So I think this is going to be a very interesting space to watch. Let's see how, for example, the patent race kind of continues on. Let's see how, for example, nChain continue to do what they're doing, continue to put out great ideas, and continue to do the right thing in the right space. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this develops on with BSV.
Yeah, I think that is the best view to have on it as well. If you're an insider and you're helping build out the Bitcoin ecosystem, then you can use the technology for free. And they are very, very open with that as well. And of course, we've had our personal experiences. If you're an outsider and you're trying to build a completely other ecosystem, then pay. Exactly how it should be.
And also, with that being said, we know that obviously the things that they're paying for is going to greatly benefit their project. And that, in essence, is not a threat to BSV in a way, but it means that obviously these people can compete. And then something I've always been a massive fan on is that competition breeds excellence. I don't want to just see, for example, one of the coins go out there and do what they're doing just on their own without any real competition, because I know that all nChain and also the guys that are working on BSV are going to do is just keep upping their level every single time. And that I just want to continue seeing. So I think that really does cover up what I wanted to say around nChain at the moment. I know we've got some great subjects to tuck into with yourself. So yeah, let's kick into that.
Yeah. So my news is on Binance, because Binance, they are preparing to launch their stablecoin out in Singapore. Now, in 2018, at the consensus event that actually happened in Singapore, they made an announcement that they wanted to create a fiat to crypto pair in every single continent pretty much. So they've been working through that plan, and we had this discussion on one of the previous crypto times about how stable coins do actually benefit this space right now, because getting your fiat money, so the money in your bank account, your pounds, dollars, whatever it is, into cryptocurrencies isn't an easy experience. It isn't a nice experience, put it that way, because a lot of these bank accounts, a lot of the major bank accounts within this space, well, within the traditional financial system, they don't actually allow crypto companies to have accounts with them. So every single time that we want to send, or an individual wants to send money to purchase a cryptocurrency, it is a very long process.
It's sort of full with barriers, isn't it, of resistance, and that is the one thing that we want to see broken down.
It's literally roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. But end of the day, we are here to revolutionize their space. But not just that, there's a lot of volatility within this space right now. So of course, banks, they do have their question marks when they are sending funds towards this space. So what a stablecoin quite simply does, it acts as a bridge, because it isn't actually deemed as a cryptocurrency. And what a stablecoin is quite simply, if I have $1 here, and that one token will resemble that exact same $1. That means that whatever company it is that has created this stable coin, they need to make sure that they're backing it up and not running a fractional reserve system. Yeah. So what Binance are planning to do is to have a stable coin in every single jurisdiction. And they're attacking Asia right now. And we know that volumes out there are crazy. That is probably where the majority of volumes within this space are actually coming from right now. So to enable those particular individuals to get involved in this space in a seamless process, only thing it's going to do is add more money to this space, which is a benefit for everyone across the board. But it's actually pretty smart how Binance are doing it at the moment, because of course they have their token as well. And what does their token do? It gives them cheaper prices, cheaper rates every single time that they're using Binance's exchange. So they're very smartly creating themselves a full little ecosystem. They can funnel money into the company. It then promotes people to buy the Binance token, because you get better rates when you're dealing with the Binance, when you're actually holding the Binance token itself. So it's a smart move from them. And but the whole thing with stable coins is it's pretty much a plaster on the bullet wound scenario. It's only going to go on for so long. As soon as cryptocurrencies finds itself and the people within this space become educated, and not just that, the regulators then catch up, we won't need stable coins anymore. But it's a very good move from Binance.
Yeah, I think that covers a load of the positives on it. I think one of the negatives that I've kind of come across with stable coins in the past was specifically around USDT, to be honest with you. We had this big conversation, especially here at Bitstocks, around whether, for example, it was running on a fractional reserve system. Mm-hmm. Now, you get one credible auditors at the time who were obviously going in there, and they were ensuring that it was one for one. Then that auditor suddenly disappeared. But because we don't actually have.
Is this Tether?
That is Tether, yeah. That was the case. But I do find it very interesting to obviously see whether they are backed up or not. But what the problem I have is, how do we know that what even those auditors are saying is going to be true? We need to ensure that the auditor that's going in there is a very reputable company that's very used to doing auditing on firms. Now, one of the comments that was kind of surrounded at this point was that actually they were unsure whether USDT really were doing exactly what they were saying. Now, if that is the case and they weren't doing what they're saying, how can we trust what they were going to do going forward? We couldn't. So it really raised a lot of questions around stablecoins. So then what people started to do was look at different areas. For example, Gemini, right? Gemini is backed by some serious players. Now, the fact that it's backed by those guys, and those guys are very credible within the space, for me is very important, because that then adds that kind of safety net around it. What's your opinion on the safety net that would be around Binance as a complete point?
The thing is, if we literally circumvent that and we just talk about the Tether scenario, because that's more than likely the biggest one out of all of them, the one that's had the most questions stamped on it. A lot of people have looked into it. We know that because we were doing it ourselves. Even though that there are still a lot of question marks around Tether, and they haven't really proved anything in terms of the fact that they may have the money there or may not have the money there. I think they actually even changed their terms. So it wasn't a scenario where they had to have $1 backing up their one token, but they're still getting a lot of volume. People are still using them. And the reasons why is because of the Asian markets. We know out there they have very strict capital controls. So they don't really have much options. So that is why that they are, I personally believe that's why they're more than happy to still take the risk and still use it.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair point. I think also if you are looking for a flight to safety, and as we said, those ramps towards actual fiat currencies are very difficult. That is one great way just to throw that money there while you're waiting, for example, for a position to drop off in terms of value before re-entering again. Yeah. So I think they serve great purposes. But yeah, it just comes back to that same point. If, everybody was to turn up outside Tether's headquarters with their Tethers, I know they're virtual, but we'll go for the fact that they're in hands, and they're standing there and say, I want my US dollars for the Tethers that I'm holding. I just think it'd be a very interesting conversation if 100% of the people that actually were holding them at that time were standing at the door. What would end up happening? I think that would be interesting. And also the ramifications for what that would do for other coins within the space and the whole space in general. I think it would be very, very interesting. So I think that's a nice point to kind of leave out in the air and to wrap up on. As always, it's been a good discussion around nChain and also what's been happening with stable coins, specifically around that exchange, which is great. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please always hit up that notification button so you know what's coming from Bitstocks as always. If you want to have a listen, go through Spotify and iTunes. If you want to watch, obviously YouTube. And we've got tons of blog content, obviously through bitstocks.com. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate your time.
Peace and love.